What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. 2024 is going to be the year of finding out. A lot of people for the last couple of years have been f***ing around, and now this is the year that many will find out. Now, Disney, of course, has been finding out in their stock price that going woke does in fact mean you will go broke. You don't have to be a stock market expert to know that when your stock has returned negative 18 points over the last 5 years, that's the wrong direction, especially if you're one of the world's biggest media companies. It's really the wrong direction. Whoop, 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 whoop. If you invested $100 in Disney 5 years ago, you'd have $80. That's not the way that people want to see their companies going. And, well, if you F around in a state that has given you an enormous grab bag of goodies in a past generation when you were still a wholesome, conservative, family-oriented company, and then you disabuse that state and sue them and throw screeching hissy fits over something that doesn't concern you, called the Parental Bill of Rights. The Parental Bill of Rights in Florida is effectively a bill that allows for the parents to parent their children and not for freakazoid green-haired teachers who have daddy issues to parent the children. And that's actually a really good thing for all of society. Disney, of course, found major problems with that, even though it really didn't affect Disney. And they started to become political activists for some reason. That has been affected in, of course, their content over the last 10 years. And that political activism has now poisoned the well so badly that the company lost all their goodies. Billions of dollars, in fact, worth of goodies. Disney was able to have their own corporate kingdom in the state of Florida. This was set up in the 1960s by the CIA, had really nothing to do with anybody living or alive today in politics, but Ron DeSantis did, in fact, end this. And now Disney has been ended once more in court. Judge dismisses Disney lawsuit against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, alleging retaliation. A judge has dismissed the lawsuit Disney filed against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, alleging he retaliated against the company for publicly criticizing his controversial parental rights law. It is not controversial at all. This would be called normal. In every generation that has existed from this point back 5,000 years of human history, parents determine how their children are raised. Unless you live in some type of Marxist hellscape, right? Some type of dictatorial, reverse engineering Marxist hellscape. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't a controversial bill. And Disney, even if it was, Disney should have shut up about it and said, we're just going to plod right along with all of our goodies from the state. But instead, they sued the state and lost everything. The judge ruled that Disney lacked legal standing to sue DeSantis, Secretary of Florida Commerce Department, and members of the board that now controls the Special Improvement District, which the company operates its parks and resorts. This is a crushing blow to Disney as the judge dismisses the lawsuit, and Disney now is left without a leg to stand on. Federal judge Wednesday dismissed Disney lawsuit against Governor Ron DeSantis, members of the state board for allegedly retaliating against them in court filing. DeSantis and other defendants in the case argued that the lawsuit should be dismissed because Disney couldn't sue them over constitutionally enacted state laws. Duh. Florida Republican-led government had stripped Disney of control over Special Development District that gave it autonomy over its parks, including Walt Disney Resort. This will mean billions in taxpayer dollars that Disney was skirting for the state. The left should totally be on our side with this. But of course, the mind virus extends deep into the Disney well, and the stands will defend the major multinational trillion-dollar corporation. Leave them alone! Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The most magical place on earth is now going to be turned into, well, one of the most based places on earth, because the board that is now in charge of Disney, that is state-appointed, says that Disney's tax perks are corporate cronyism. I remember a time when libs used to really care about this kind of stuff. I don't want big corporations making their own rules, running their own lands. Literally, this was such a plum deal for Disney. The fact that they were so brain dead to F this up, there's no corporation in America that is allowed to run its own city, right? Do you know what I mean? There isn't another one. There are a lot of corporations with a lot of power. And you could argue that a lot of that power, and I certainly would, probably shouldn't have that much power, right? We're probably super ripe for like some Teddy Roosevelt level trust busting and monopoly busting in this country. I'd be super down for that. The disintegration of massive corporate power, Orwellian corporate power, is good. And obviously the definition of fascism is when those corporations team up with the government, which you see day and night, and then enact laws to oppress all of us. So it's very good for corporations to have less power. Duh. The left used to think this. Duh. But the left is totally on the side of Disney here because the mind virus rots your brain. The Central Florida Tourism Oversight District unveiled its report on Monday detailing how the House of Mouse achieved near total governing authority over the district beginning in 1967 when it was first set up. That authority was so unchecked that Disney attained the power to, among other exceptional privileges, create the district not just in its own fire and police departments, but also, if it chose, construct a nuclear power plant. Holy schmoly. Now Disney has been stripped of that power. And now, of course, the experimental absolute monarchy, as it's called, has gone away. Thanks to Disney's old jackassery. Again, F around and find out. Within the borders of the state of Florida, and accordingly the United States, one that strikingly resembled, without exaggeration, a kingdom, the report says. So, Disney is getting destroyed again, and we are totally and completely here for it. Ron DeSantis explaining what he was doing in the state when he dissolved the special district for Disney.
One of the companies who was benefiting a lot from the government of the state of Florida actually, was Disney. You changed that. So they just switched CEOs because of that, because of what you did. The new CEO was the old CEO, Bob Iger. He held a town hall for employees. And he said he regretted that Disney had fought with your administration over a bill that you backed that banned teachers from talking to kindergartners about sex. So then Disney's response led Florida state legislatures to strip, as you know, of course, because you backed it, Disney of its special status. Here's what Iger said today.
I was sorry to see us dragged into that battle, and I have no idea exactly what its ramifications are in terms of the business itself. What I can say is the state of Florida has been important to us for a long time, and we have been very important to the state of Florida. That is something I'm extremely mindful of and will articulate if I get the chance.
How do you respond to that? He's talking about you.
We didn't drag them in, Tucker. They went in on their own and not only opposed the bill, they threatened to get it repealed. These are parents' rights, important policies in our state that are very popular. And so they brought this on themselves. Yeah. All we did was stand up for what's right. And yes, they're a big, powerful company. But you know what? We stand up for our folks. And I don't care what a Burbank-based California company says about our laws.
Governor Ron DeSantis of the state of Florida. Thanks so much for that.
Okay, so I live in Florida. I don't live too far from Disney. Actually, I'll be in Orlando this weekend. I drive by Disney a lot. I'm in Orlando a lot for work and business. I've never been to Disney. I have not gone to one of the parks since I moved here. I have long advocated for Ron DeSantis to stop running for president because obviously Donald Trump is our Republican nominee, and to come back to the state of Florida because he's an effective leader here and arguably one of the top 3 governors in my lifetime for Republicans. Ron DeSantis, the greatest living Republican governor, because of winning battles like this, and he's very good at them. And so good job coming back to the state of Florida and winning. This is actually why I moved my most precious commodity here, my family, my most precious possession, the most important thing in my life, my family, my kids. And so like good on you, quite frankly. Elon Musk had an important message that kind of mirrors Ron DeSantis' message to Bob Iger.
Talk to Bob Iger
I hope
today.
they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f*** yourself.
But
Go f*** yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob.
Every time I see that clip, it just warms my heart a little bit more. It makes me want to buy more X subscriptions or Tesla products, whatever. I don't own a Tesla, but whatever. I am so in favor of that attitude, and also so in favor of the results of that attitude, which is, of course, the dissolution of corporate power from people like Bob Iger, who are totally evil and who are using it to project political power, actually, because that's what fascism is, using corporate power to protect political power and to project political power. Elon Musk, what I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil. F them. That's the attitude, and that is the way forward. After these comments, of course, there was a massive boycott of Disney. Disney hemorrhaged subscribers. People canceled their Disney Plus subscription. Boycotts were started. Disney went and just absolutely got kicked right in the nuts. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Disney is straight up admitting that, well, we got it wrong. And you were right for castrating us. Check this out. Happy birthday, Adam Smith. The invisible hand just slapped Disney. Disney's recent SEC filing, Securities and Exchange Commission, acknowledges that the company went woke and now has gone broke. We face risks relating to a misalignment with public and consumer tastes and preferences for entertainment, travel, and consumer products. Oh my. What does this say? Generally, our revenues and profitability are adversely impacted when our entertainment offerings and products, as well as the methods to make our offerings and products available to consumers, do not achieve sufficient consumer acceptance. Further, consumers' perceptions of our positions on the matters of public interest, including our efforts to achieve certain environmental and social goals, often differ wildly and present risks to our reputation and brands. Uh-oh. What does this mean? This is directly from their filing. This means that they are out of line with the tastes of the overall American consumer, and people are turning elsewhere. Like, could you imagine a world, like if 1 year ago I told you that Indiana Jones was going to be beaten by like a small indie pendant film produced by Angel Studios, that Disney was going to be shredded at the box office? Sound of Freedom beats Indiana Jones. Incredible box office coup. Like, would you believe me? You would have if you've been following the internal dialogues at Disney, where the employees who say things that are so stupid they don't bear repeating. This employee, for instance, talked about how they were allowed, without any type of hold or from any type of manager, to insert queerness into children's television, to add gay characters kissing, to like promote agenda as much as possible. This employee hysterically and openly brags about how much they use Disney as a vehicle for their personal political agenda. You know, at some point people are just going to say, like, F you to these people. They're going to say, go F yourself, especially parents of little kids who believe that they're in charge of their children's future, which is where this brouhaha that ended with Disney getting a chair broken over its head, 2 black eyes, kicked right in the ass, and thrown out of the bar window started. Disney's activism partner, Nadine Smith of Equality Florida, an activism partner. Oh, okay. What exactly is that? Tells alphabet employees of Disney that DeSantis wants to erase you, criminalize your existence, and take your kids. So this is what Disney is saying. Here's like the Disney logo right there. DeSantis wants to erase you, criminalize your existence, and take your kids. This is what Disney is promoting against a Republican governor. And so ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen, how and truly how bad is this going to get? Bob Iger is out at the same event that Elon Musk told him to go F himself, saying, we're going to stop the activism. Yeah? Okay, Bob. Really? We've all seen some of the new Star Wars films that are being made. We've all seen the new Snow White and some of the radical and paranoid changes that have been made to these products. We don't think so. We doubt it, quite frankly. But if you were to just simply fire everyone who currently works in a production or managerial role at Disney, hunt down and fire anyone who's ever inserted their activism ahead of their creativity in these projects, well, then maybe you'd have a company, once again, of creators and not destroyers, which is what Disney is right now. As Disney destroys their own stock market value, and as Disney destroys, of course, their own fate in court, their own future, quite frankly. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the good news for the day. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe, and stay exceedingly based.